Hey, everybody, we are back. Marty Coleman here. It is May 3rd, 2022. Today, Parker is going to go over the few games from yesterday, May 2, 2022. All those scoring, I don't think anybody scored more than 5 runs yesterday.
No, the Rays scored 6. But...
Okay. Rays scored 6, everybody else 5 or less. Without further ado, Parker Coleman.
So the Royals and the Cardinals were one of the 2 day games from yesterday. It was postponed after rain on April 12th, 13th, one of those days. So the I-70 series continues. They're in St. Louis, then they're going to continue the series in Kansas City. I-70 series could also be called the Show Me series because they're both Missourian teams. But it's Greinke versus Matt Goldschmidt with homer to give them an early lead, and that would be the only run that scores them in the game. Michael A. Taylor would rob Andrew Kisner of a home run. It was a home run, not a fly out at the wall. But that was really the only highlight for the Royals. Greinke and Matz would both go 6 solid. They had a good pitcher's duel. Matz was the first star, 6 innings, 4 hits, 4 strikeouts, no walks. Greinke was second star, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 strikeout, 1 run, a walk, or no walk, sorry. But Greinke, that home run was his one mistake, and he lost the game because of it. Goldschmidt went 2 for the home run RBI. Cardinals win pitcher's duel 1-0. No runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Royals. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. This game's low scoring too. And I know the White Sox, the record still doesn't look very good. Consider it's early season, this is a World Series winner, but I think you're happy with the split of a 4-game series if you're them, especially with how good the Angels have been playing. It's Cease versus Sandoval. Cease was absolutely amazing. Anderson and Robert would single, 2 are on. Pollock would hit an RBI ground out. Grandal would walk. Then Berger would hit a sac fly. 2-0 Sox. In the bottom of the 6th, Abreu would single, RBI double for Adam Engel. It's 3-0. Cease would go 7 great innings. Trout would go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. I don't remember the specific number, but I do know that it hadn't happened very long for a guy who's been playing for 11, 12 years. But I wish I had the stat. Don't, but it's rare at this point. The Sox split the series with the Halos. Like I said, if this was last year, the White Sox fans would probably be upset with a split series against the Angels, especially since the Angels weren't very good last year. But with how they're struggling early in the season, again, not worried about them, you'd still think they'd be happy with the season split. But it's just the Angels have been playing pretty good baseball.
And they have Trout and Rendon, which they didn't last year for almost the entire year.
Cease won 7 innings, gave 1 hit, 11 strikeouts, no walks. Engel was 1 for 3 with the RBI double. Robert didn't get any RBI. He was 3 for 4, so that's pretty good. Got more hits than the entire Angels team. 0 runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Angels. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the White Sox. Diamondbacks Marlins. And if I'm a Diamondbacks fan, I'm actually pretty optimistic. Because they beat the Marlins 5-4. And they've had the hardest schedule in baseball so far this season. The Orioles have the second hardest, Reds third, and then I think it goes Red Sox, Astros, Blue Jays, if I remember correctly. Oh, the Rangers are in there too. Those are the top 6 or 7 that I can remember correctly. But I thought it was pretty interesting. The Blue Jays and Astros with 2 of the hardest schedules to start off. So same thing with the Red Sox and the Rangers.
Well, the other thing to be optimistic about is, remember how bad they were hitting in the first week or 10 games? Well, everybody's hitting bad this year.
Yeah.
So,
I did look because I knew you were going to mention it. They had 5 guys batting under 200 yesterday. They still scored 5 runs, and it was because Varsho would double and he would score on a Peralta home run, making it 2-0. Varsho would walk. Varsho had a good game. Goes to third on a failed pickoff. Lupo good RBI single. He'd steal second. Stallings is upset. He thinks there's interference. He doesn't get the call. RBI single for Peralta. It's 4-0. Luplo's RBI single after Perdomo singles and Varsho doubles makes it 5-0. Varsho didn't make the Stars, but he had 2 doubles yesterday. I'm pretty sure he had 3 hits as well. Walk. I think he probably should have, but I feel like Luplo and Peralta's hits were bigger and more important. But it's just the game ended up being close. In the top of the 7th, or that was the top of the 7th, Luplo's RBI single. At the bottom of the 7th, Cooper and Garcia are hit by a pitch. Not by the same pitch, by 2 different ones. And so 2 are on, no are out, two outs are gotten by Gallen. He leaves the game, and then Stallings is hit to load the bases. So this is a nightmare scenario because I think the only thing worse than walking three guys to load the bases is hitting them all. Chisholm would double the score too, make it 5-2. Aguilar would single, making it 5-4. However, they couldn't do anything else. Diamondbacks win 5-4. Again, hard schedule in baseball, and they're 11-13. So again, not usually teams would be super thrilled with an 11-13 record, but after losing 110 games last year and facing the hardest teams in baseball, you have to be pretty decently excited about how they've been playing so far, even though they're under 500. Gallen was first star, 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts. Peralta was through 4 RBIs, home run. Luckily was 2 RBIs. Like I said, Varsho also deserves a shout out. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Diamondbacks. 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Marlins. Twins Orioles. Carlos Correa looks like he's coming around. His stats look a lot better than they did in the first week or so of the season. Now, they don't look like Carlos Correa stats, but definitely do look a lot better. It would be quiet until the 5th, as Larnack would double score on a Jeffers RBI single. The O's would tie it, as Odor would triple, a sac fly for Urias. Buxton would single, move to second on a ground on the top of the 6th. RBI single for Correa. Makes it 2-1. That's why I mentioned Correa. I wouldn't have mentioned it if he went over 4 or 4 strikeouts. Paddock and Wells would duel. They'd be the first and second star. The Twins would win 2-1 and have won 10 out of 11. So if you guys want, I will rag on teams, and they'll turn into good teams. So I'm taking submissions in the comments. Paddock was the first star, 5 1/3, I should say. 4 hits, 1 run, 3 strikeouts. Wells went 5 innings, he had 4 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts. Correa had the game-winning RBI, 1 for 4 at the RBI, 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Twins, 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Orioles. Yankees, Blue Jays. Again, I didn't know how many people agreed with the idea that I had that they had only beaten the Yankees hadn't beaten a very, very good team. Does that make sense? They did beat a good team last night. I mean, it's 1 win, but I mean, credit to them. Like I said, I would say that the win streak's impressive, even if they're playing bad teams, because it's hard to sweep a series. And I will say maybe they don't have a 10-game winning streak if they're playing harder teams, but it doesn't mean that their 10-game winning streak's not impressive. That's what I'll say. This would be quiet until the 4th inning, as Torres would homer after a Donaldson single. It would be 2-0. In the bottom of the 4th, Springer singles. Bichette hits an RBI double. Chapman would hit an RBI single to tie the game at 2. In the top of the 9th, Stanton would single. LeCastro pinch hits. He steals second. Torres hits an RBI single. The Yankees win their 10th in a row. Very low scoring. Torres was easily the first star because he had all 3 RBIs for the Yankees. 2 for 4. 3 RBIs, home run. Montgomery went 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts. Bichette went 2 for 4 with a double and an RBI, 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Yankees. 2 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays were on the opposite end of a 1-run loss. Mets, Braves. At the bottom of the 2nd, Marte would double. He'd later score on a wild pitch. Mets had a good start to this. On the bottom of the 3rd, Conha would hit a home run. It's 2-0. But then the Braves would bounce back. And the top of the 4th, Riley would homer to cut the lead in half. And the top of the 6th, Riley and Albie single. RBI double for Travis d'Arnaud. He had a great game yesterday. Duvall's fielder's choice would score Albies for the lead. Now, I want to mention Travis d'Arnaud because the Mets, I think it was in 2019. It was 1 year, but the Mets, he was injury prone and they released them. And he has a 1,000 OPS against the Mets ever since. So that's very interesting. He's the Mets killer. That would be like if the Astros released. I guess we could say Abraham Toro. Toro, he had a good week or so with the Mariners, but that'd be kind of like if he just hit home runs or had a 1,000 OPS against the Astros. So the Braves have a 3-2 lead after Duvall's fielder's choice scored Albies. Olsen, the top of the 8th, would walk. Albies would single, and then d'Arnaud would get them again. I don't know how to say his name. Is it d'Arnaud? I don't know. There's not usually a lowercase d, besides DeGrom. There's not usually a lowercase d with an apostrophe in the front of somebody's name. But he would get them again with another 2 RBI double. His last double, he had a double for an RBI last time, but this is a 2 RBI double. The Braves would win 5-2. And Darno, whatever his name is, he'd be the first start. 3-4, 3 RBIs, double. Sorry, Travis, if you're watching this. Or Chase, if you're watching this. Sorry for mispronouncing your name too.
I was going to say there were two of them when you said there's not many.
Mhm.
There's two in that family.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're brothers. Well, I mean, they kind of have to be. They kind of have to have the same last name. Well, actually, probably not, but
Could be cousins.
yeah. But Fried, he was really good. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. Riley, 4 RBI home run. 5 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Braves. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Mets. We got 2 more games. I know it's going by pretty fast, and this game's going to go by pretty fast too. It's the Astros and the Mariners. And before this game, the Mariners were 4-23 in Minute Maid Park in the last 27 games. I know for a fact they got swept in 2019. Because in 2019, the Astros went 18-1 against the Mariners in their season series, and their only loss was in Safeco or T-Mobile, whatever it's called now. And it was 14-1. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Their only loss was 14-1. I do remember. I'm pretty sure it was maybe. I feel like it was Carlos Correa, but I feel like Carlos Correa or Jose Altuve got ejected. I know it was a middle infielder. And that was when it was 2-1, not 14-1. But then, pretty sure they lost a game or two to them in last year. Then I know for a fact that they lost one game in 2020. So I'm just trying to recount all the losses or so. But it was very quiet. Gonzalez versus Odorizzi. Gonzalez was on the ropes early, but the Astros weren't able to score until the 4th inning when Alvarez would homer, giving it a 1-0 lead. The Astros guys, they teed it up pretty well for Jordan. They're mentioning he has the 12 best exit velocities in Astros history. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I know StatCast hasn't existed very long, but I mean, still, he made his debut in 2019, so that's still crazy in my opinion. In the bottom of the 6th, Tucker would single. He'd go to second on an error, which this is controversial because I feel like if the error isn't made, he's out. But the ball got past Adam Frazier, who was shifted in the outfield, and it went. I feel like if Frazier makes that play, then he's out. So I think you either have to give him a double, or you have to say that he reached on an error. Just a little. I don't want to say gripe because it's not a big deal necessarily. But unlike watching the guy do his best, the umpire do his best Angel Hernandez impression, because man, that dude was horrible yesterday. But I feel like you can't give him a single and error. I feel like he either gets a double or he reached on an error.
I saw the play, but I don't remember where Tucker was because I was too busy watching the fielder. So I can't comment, because I know they said on the broadcast, they said basically the same thing.
Yeah.
There should be a double or an error, not a single and an error.
And they're watching, so.
Yeah.
And if anything, this wasn't a misplay by Kelnick, but I feel like if the throw was a little better, they could have got it. It was a good throw, but I feel like if the throw was a little better, they could have gotten him going to second. So I don't want to give him an error to Kelnick, but if there's an error anywhere there, it would be him, not Adam Frazier, if you give him a single and an error.
Well, like I said, they could have assumed that he was going to beat it out, and the only reason he made it to second was because it went off his glove and into right field. It's a difficult call.
But that was something. What's more important, and there's a little more talking about it. Jeremy Pena hit his 4th or 5th home run of the year. It was 5th. It was a big one. Put the Astros up 3-0. It was especially big because Rafael Montero would come in, and he would get kind of close to blowing it. I would say he had 2 on with 1 out, and Suarez was 3 on count. Luckily for all Astros fans, Suarez swung at the pitch, grounded into a double play. He could have. I don't know. That was a strike right there, but theoretically he could have walked, and then Crawford would come up to the plate with bases loaded at 1 out. Crawford's been one of the best hitters for the Mariners this year, so I do feel like it was close to blowing it. But nonetheless, the Astros went 3-0. Odorizzi was amazing again for the 2nd straight game in a row. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 3 strikeouts, a walk. A lot better than. Well, I don't want to say a lot better, but it was better than last start. So he's going up.
He's now pitched 12 2/3 in the last 2 games, giving up 1 run.
Yeah,
that's the Odorizzi they need.
It was a solo shot.
Yeah, that's the Odorizzi they need. I want to say, Jeremy Pena, I was looking at him a couple minutes ago. He's only batting .215, but he's had some clutch hits. He's made a few errors, but he's had some clutch hits, and his WAR is 1.2 after only 23 games. Multiply that out, extrapolate it out 7 times. 23 is 161. Yeah. 7 times his WAR would be 8.4.
Yeah, so that's pretty good for a rookie. And I will say that there are some at bats he doesn't look like a rookie. He feels like a guy who already has a good eye at the plate. He's just a guy he doesn't feel like he's hopelessly lost at the plate.
Yeah, there are some bats he does look like a rookie. They're like the first one ever.
But I feel like he has more now than he did. I feel like he looks like he looks like he has a very good eye at the plate for someone who's only 23.
And I agree. And the rookies, you're going to see some bad at bats, and who no matter who it is, but you don't feel hopeless when he's up there.
Yeah.
He might miss it by a foot, and he might hit the next one. What was it last night? 462 feet or whatever it was.
Yeah. Dusty Baker gets win 1,999. Montero gets a save against his former team. Like I said, Oder is his first star. Alvarez is 1 for 3 home run, walk, RBI, second star. Pena was 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a home run, third star. No runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Mariners, 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Astros.
That's one thing I wanted to mention. Yordan Alvarez does not get enough credit. I looked at it last night. He had played 250 games before last night. His 162 game averages were 288. I think the slugging was 577, 43 home runs, 128 RBIs, 152 OPS plus. He's incredible, and people go, "Oh yeah, good." Wonder when Jeremy Pena is going to get another single. Yeah. So Yordan is incredible.
Stargate Sports doesn't need me to give them a shout out, but if you do want a good video on Yordan Alvarez and how underrated he is, well, to show you how underrated he is, really the only video that's mainly about Yordan Alvarez. But it's they have a video about Yordan Alvarez about how good he is. He's better than Walt Drapo, I will say that. They had it was like Rudy York. They had like a bunch of guys that no one had ever heard of from like the 1950s last year as graphics, but it was like Walt Drapo and Rudy York and all those names. But yeah, Stargate Sports is a good. Again, they don't need me to give them a shout out. But if you are interested in Yordan Alvarez and how good he is and like why he possibly isn't getting as much attention as he has, go check that out. Last game's Tampa Bay Rays, Oakland Athletics. The Oakland Athletics have officially dipped under the enrollment at my high school. I'm pretty sure they had 2,500 people there yesterday. Our high school's at 2,700, I believe. No, my high school. And I mean, I guess it makes sense because the Rays are there and they're famous for bad attendance too. But man, this is really pathetic. And I don't blame the A's fans at all. Again, owner's fault. You have a buffoon, idiot, jerk as your owner. And maybe there's a fan base in Oakland. And it really, really sucks that they're probably going to lose their baseball team because the owners are going to say, oh, we had low attendance, let's move to Las Vegas. Well, the reason why I have low attendance is because you're selling off every single player. Same thing with the Reds. I don't want to harp too much on Reds fans because I'm pretty sure they're just done with the season already, a month or 3 weeks into the season. But I feel like the A's, their owners, they thought the best thing for us to do this offseason is to shed salary. And not because we're going to rebuild, even though they did get some good players, but because we want, to move to Las Vegas or get a new stadium. Most likely move to Las Vegas. They'll be able to say, hey, we only had 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people show up in Oakland. Let's move to Las Vegas. And also, since we're cheap, we get to save some money. So that's good too. Because the A's, they were close to contending. I'll say that. They were pretty close to contending. They needed a few more pieces. And heck, who knows? Maybe they could have called up a rookie or two that could have been really, really big for them. It's tough. And it's really bad for baseball for teams to be super, super close to contending and then just trade it all away. Those are my thoughts on that. I'll get to the game because the Rays had a good game. Diaz would homer, leadoff homer for Yandy Diaz. Yandy? I don't know how to say his name. Rays would take a lead that they would never relinquish. The A's would tie it in the bottom of the second as Brown would walk. He'd steal second, score on a Chad Pinder single. In the top of the third, Diaz, Franco, and Rosarena would score 2 runs on 3 singles along with an error. In the top of the fourth, Margot would double, Zunino would single for an RBI, and Zunino would score later on a Franco single. It would be 5-1. Ramirez would single, and I almost made it a whole episode without a word vomit. In the top of the fifth, Ramirez would single. Margot's RBI single would score him. The Rays won 6-1. Like I said, the A's had 2,400 people or so attend their game. Rasmussen was the first star. He was really good. 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 3 strikeouts. Diaz was the second star. 2 for 5, home run, RBI. Franco was the third star. 2 for 4, RBI. 6 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Rays. 1 run, 2 hits. Only 2 hits for the A's. They didn't have a good game last night. 2 errors for the A's. So those are all the games. I'm going to try my best to do all the games. It's very, very tough. There are like 9 different projects I have to do for school. I hope, but I do plan on doing more of this in the summer.
Yeah, it'll be a lot easier once school's out, which for Parker is it right at before Memorial Day, so about a month more. That's going to be a tough division, right? The Yankees are 17-6, Toronto is 15-9, and Tampa Bay is 13-10, but in third place, 4 games behind. Yankees on a 10-game winning streak. That's not going to last forever.
No.
Really interesting there. One team that doesn't look like it's going to make it is the Red Sox, who are vying with Baltimore for last place. So
yeah, I don't want
to
get ahead of myself too much. I'm going to take the Rays to win the division until August or so. I mean, and if they're like 2 or 3 games back, I'm still going to take them because I feel like the Yankees, they're a good talented team. I feel like the Rays are a smarter team, if that makes sense. And you can't doubt the Rays. You can't do it. I think the NL West so far looks like it's shaping up to be the best division, I would say. Like I said, the Dodgers, Padres, Rockies, and Giants are all over 500. And the one team that's not over 500 is the Diamondbacks, who's 11-13 with the hardest schedule in baseball. Not saying the Rockies are going to be good this year. I think their success is unsustainable, and I think they're going to be like cooled off by June. And I do think that the Diamondbacks aren't going to stay near the Padres, Giants, or Dodgers. But it does look like it could be a good division. And if the Rockies can continue playing this well, then maybe it would be a good division.
All right. That is it for May 3rd, 2022, the games of May 2nd, 2022, plus some thoughts from Parker. And we will probably catch up with you tomorrow, or as Casey and I now have been fond of saying in the off season for football, we'll see you when we see you. But whenever we get to it, whenever Parker has time, we'll come up with a new episode.
What I might do is tomorrow, I definitely want to get something out tomorrow after the game. So what I might do if I don't have enough time to do all these recaps is do the three notes I did. Like, you remember what I did for that's probably what I'll do if I don't have enough time to do all the games tomorrow.
Okay. You heard it straight from Parker. We'll talk to you soon.